know you do that.
There it is.
Okay. Yeah, Melanie, we are off and running. Thanks for making this happen.
Absolutely.
So I'm in just outside of Seattle, Washington. Where are you? It looks like a nice day outside, wherever you
Yeah,
are.
I'm house sitting for my folks right outside Charlotte, North Carolina. I live an hour and a half away in Winston-Salem, but
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I spent about 11 years in Virginia Beach, so
Oh, nice. Not
not
far.
super far away. How's the humidity?
It's a swamp outside.
I tell you
It's
what, I think humidity is some of the toughest
it's the
conditions
killer.
to work
It's
in.
yeah, my AC was out at my apartment for the last week and a half. Um, and even going outside, it was cooler, but it was still like walking out into like wet. So
Oh,
it
man.
was not enjoy. I'm glad my parents live close by, so I can hop over here and just
It's
have
so tough.
AC.
As I lived for a while at Denver too, it's about a mile of elevation
Mhm,
up there. I did that for about 3 years. So I've worked out at elevation, but working out in the South, like when I lived in Virginia, like I think that was some of the toughest workout
mhm,
conditions. That humidity is just a beast.
mhm. Yeah, it's even if you go out early in the day. I mean, like I don't run outside. I run on a track or a treadmill because it's just too swampy. It feels like you're running through some kind of gel.
Are you working out in your garage or where do you hit the workouts?
So I have a membership at the Y because I
Oh,
can
good for
go to
you.
the
Air
Y.
conditioning.
I have a like sensitivity to heat. So if I get too hot, I'm done for the day.
Gotcha.
So I have my equipment in my apartment, but I also work remote. So I needed to get outside. So
Mm.
and the Y has the one I go to regularly, they have like the air runner, they've got the
Yep.
assault, like they have everything, which is really, really nice.
Oh, they've got all that these days at the Y.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
That's why I
cool.
chose the Y because I went in and I went, okay, we've got the Concept 2 rower, we have the assault bike, we have the area for all of the pull-ups, which I don't do. I do ring rows.
Where ring rows are fantastic.
But the section and there's I mean, I have to work around the schedule of when they have classes, but it's also nice to have those classes I can go to because they have all of the equipment I need. They have barbells, they have some fun stuff like a Jacob's ladder, you know.
Oh, that's cool. Do they have halfway decent barbells that like spin at all, or are they still like kind of rugged barbells?
Mhm. Yeah. So it depends. I have 2 Ys I go to near me, and then I just was at the Y near my folks less than an hour ago, and I have my favorite barbell, as you do. So if someone and they nobody uses the pink barbell, but I grab it, and it's got good spin. I check the bars when I pick them up. I'm like, "Okay, this is the right one," but some of them don't, but a lot of them are pretty good.
Man, that's really cool because I haven't been in a Y in literally decades, and I guess I have in my head an antiquated idea of what I remember the Y as a kid or
Mhm.
twice. A bunch of old Nautilus equipment,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
a
mhm.
pool that you could smell the chlorine in the parking lot, and that's it.
They still have that. They still
Okay.
have that and the Nautilus equipment. That's still there. They just also happen to have the functional training area. They even have the ones in Winston, they've got like a platform area, but the ones here, they have like an actual dedicated built platform with the wood and the rubber on the side. They've got about
Okay.
4 of those. And they have what the air ski erg.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
you literally have everything you need.
Uh-huh. And that's why I
Bumper
mean,
plates?
everything. I take my like little baby 1.25 little change plates.
Yeah,
If I know that I'm doing something like a snatch where I'm not going to go up and weight that high, and they don't
sure.
have that one, but they have to it. They have so many. It's so great. I love it.
Is that area, that functional training or functional fitness area, is it usually jammed or can you get a spot and work out?
So when I went today, it was kind of jammed up, but that's because I went at 10:30, which is when everyone's going because the children's center is open. I
Oh, okay.
typically have the space to myself. If I go around 12:30, between 12:30 and like
That's
3,
cool.
yeah. So and the ones where I live as well, it's empty. They have classes, and like I said, I have to work around the classes, but it's so nice because it's I'm like, okay, cool. I have the rower right here and I have my bar right here. And it has given me the ability, because when I started with Linchpin, I didn't have a Y membership. And so it was, if there was cardio, I was running. And if I was injured, then it was like I was subbing in jump rope. But
Right.
now I can do the bike or the row or run. Like I think it's Saturday. We have a bike, a row, and a run all together
Yeah, that sounds
coming
right.
up. So
You'll be covered.
yeah, I'm excited.
Hey,
It's
how much
nice.
is how much is a Y membership these days?
So it depends on where you live. I think so. For me, it's 55 a month, which in it like plus the linchpin programming, that's cheaper than a CrossFit
Oh
box
yeah, sure.
is. Um, and I also have the place to myself. It's really nice. I think in Charlotte it might be 75. I really do
Okay.
think and they have options for if you don't make as much. So it's kind of like
And
scaled.
you've got the pool. I'm sure there's like a sauna
Mhm.
maybe or
There's
something you
pools,
like.
there's saunas, they have hot yoga's really taken off. They have air like yoga classes,
I
bar.
get a
There's all kinds of
basketball
fun.
court.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. Okay. It's cool just to hear where people make these things happen, but that's a great way to do it. My wife for a while, we used to have to run our kids, was to like
Mhm.
all over the place for like
Yeah.
basketball at odd hours. And if she for a while she would do like this 50-minute drive that it didn't make sense to like come home while our son's
Mhm.
relaxing, but he's got 2 hours, so you're kind of stuck there for
Yeah.
like
You
this
feel
weird time.
trapped.
So she got a membership for a while to Lifetime Fitness, I want to say that it was, and it was like $40 a
Mhm.
month. And you go to any location, and she would just walk in there because they had the functional fitness area and
Mhm.
just knock out a
Yeah.
workout. It was like a great use of her
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I looked at, I was like, there's a Lifetime Fitness, or no, maybe it might be LA Fitness, I'm not sure. A
Maybe
Planet
that was
Fitness.
it. It might have been
Yeah.
LA Fitness.
And there's an Anytime, and I basically looked and I said, okay, sometimes like, based on how I'm feeling, because I have chronic illness, I'm like, I'm doing the dumbbell, I'm doing the Leo today, or I'm doing, the wild card, or I'm doing, usually it's the scaled, or I'll do the no equipment option. But I have the option to do all of those things because they have the
Mhm.
dumbbells and I don't have to. I now feel like I call it my second bedroom, my office, my gym office.
That's awesome.
But now I feel like I'm able to turn it into actually just a guest room where I work. Um,
Nice.
because it's nice to go to a place. I do like having my equipment at home just in case I don't have the time to get there, get back.
It's convenient.
It is. It's just like I'm alone all the time, and my dog, he's great, but he can't
Right.
talk back to me.
Need a little something else.
Yeah. So, but it
Well,
was the best option for where I live.
well, talking about, you mentioned with your job and your home office, one of the
Mhm.
reasons I was interested in talking to you is that you seem to have like a half dozen jobs and they're, interesting and unique. So maybe we start with the one that, and I don't want to say it's the least unique, but maybe it's the least unique or the one that most people have heard of. And that's you're a data systems
Yeah. We'll
archival
start with the one that
analyst.
pays the bills. Yes.
What is that? What do you do?
So, so that's a change in title. I think the change in title was last year. It used to be business analyst. So I
Okay.
work for a healthcare system, a hospital system,
Okay.
and it's more on the IT side. So what I do in my everyday life, in my, 8 hours a day, is we are taking old EHR, so electronic health records or electronic
Mm.
medical record systems. So the Novant has bought, um, over the course of their existence, they've bought a clinic, and that clinic has a bunch of data in something like Allscripts or some other legacy system. So that
Hmm.
there's all that data. We legally have to keep it, but we we can put it in cold storage, or we
Got
can
it.
move it to an archival solution. So we had one archival solution, and so it's basically like making sure all of the data that needs to get archived or put into cold storage, making sure all of our patient data is secure, and making sure that what ends up being in the archival solution looks right. So it's a bunch of back and forth, but it basically is taking care of patient data.
Gotcha. And do you have a rigid schedule you have to sign on in the morning and sign off, or do you just have a workload, and as long as you get your workload done, you have some flexibility?
I have a workload, so I've got a great boss who, if as long as you're getting your work done, he's happy. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that that's what's important because we have slow times and we have fast times. Sometimes we have,
Gotcha.
I have to validate what was it? I think it was about 20,000 patients. I needed to determine whether they were just records that had been created accidentally or whether it was a valid patient record with data in it. So sometimes there's crunch times, and sometimes it's like, well, we're enjoying the slow time because
Yes,
soon it will
absolutely.
be crunch time again. Yeah. I had
Because
to get used to that.
you know that the hammer will fall eventually.
Yeah. Yes. And it will be, and those are the days where I need Linchpin because I'm like, I need to move. Because I have a standing desk, I sit, but I get like worked up when things are stressful and I need to expend that energy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, okay, what's the best one to do today? What's the option that I'm not going to be thinking about work?
Yes, I mean 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
movement and exercise and all that stuff I say all the time. It's not just however you want to phrase it. It's good for the body, it's good for the mind, it's good for the soul. I mean,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
and it can benefit all those and be a wonderful pressure release and good for your mental health,
Mhm.
the whole nine yards. So it sounds like you're probably plenty busy with that job, but yet you decide to dip your toe in several other waters, to include
So,
being a birth doula, a
yes.
postpartum doula, and an infant care specialist, right? So
Yes.
maybe we tackle each one of those individually. What one came first and why?
So I will credit my sister with planting the seed of being a doula. And I will disclaimer, I am not currently practicing. Like it's been difficult to establish a business of working full time to support myself and then also
I
doula
can
work.
imagine.
have I have had clients, but it's very fulfilling. But I think it was how old is my oldest niece? So about 15 years ago, when she was first born, my sister said, I think you'd make a great doula. And
Oh,
I
no kidding.
yeah, and I said, what? And I don't it just I think I am someone who likes to provide informational, physical, and emotional support in
Okay.
a lot of scenarios. And I am drawn to liminal times in life. Like I have volunteered with hospice
I was
because
going to say, it seems like you're intentionally or unintentionally involved in like some critical, high emotional,
Mhm.
big life moments.
Yeah, and it's interesting because in those times when I step into that, I just someone has said you just did your doula voice, and I thought, oh, because I'm big and fun and gregarious and there's a different kind of energy that has to happen when you step into a birthing person's room. But
Well,
I,
maybe
you
let
know,
people know before you even go down that path. For the uninitiated, what is a birth doula?
okay, so the, a doula is someone who provides emotional, physical, and informational support to someone like a birth doula does during birth. And a postpartum doula it's usually for the 6 weeks after you've given birth. You can have someone that stays overnight. It's it's just someone to, I mean, honestly, if you just need to someone to sit and exist with you because it can feel very alienating after you've given birth. And honestly, the same could be said after, you've had a family member die or you've gotten a divorce. People don't really know what to do, how to be.
Hmm.
And so you end up being isolated. I think for birth, I did the birth training first
Okay.
because I well, logically, you give birth first and then you do postpartum. This is
Right.
the logic of it. And I realized after the fact, that's not, it is valuable and wonderful, but that's not my sweet spot. My sweet
Oh,
spot
okay.
is postpartum. I enjoyed being present
Sure,
for
sure.
people. I remember,
Everyone's got a favorite though.
yeah, I mean, my trainer, she invited me to a birth because I had to get a certain number of births, which is why I'm only trained, not certified. I didn't get
Gotcha.
like the 3 or 5. I got 2. Um, but it was, I remember our client was sitting up and because the beds nowadays, I went, oh, you can contort into all kinds of positions. So even if you have an epidural, you can still open up your hips and do the things that need to be done. And
Hmm.
she talked about having a picture of Rihanna as a focus, as a, like meditation point. I was like, shine bright like a diamond, girl.
Right.
Just shine bright. And it's,
Whatever's working.
yeah, and it's wait a second, I did 3 births. Anyway, um I forgot a birth, but there is a place you have to get into if you are birthing, that you have to allow your body to get there. And honestly, it's kind of like when I'm doing burpees, I'm like, I can't possibly go any faster. I'm going to die. And
Hmm.
the pain cave that people say, that you just have to go into the pain cave. This is a different thing, but it's beautiful and wonderful and can be disgusting because there's a lot of stuff
A
happening
lot of
and
stuff going on.
coming in, not coming in, going out.
Right.
But it's, I don't know, I think that I have needed support in my life, and during big times, like, I don't know how a thing is supposed to look, so I ask for support and guidance. And I think having that support and guidance is important. It's important to know, hey, you don't have to start pitocin if you don't want to. We can see if they have a breast pump. We can do other things. I'm all about, have the birth that you want to have. I mean, if you
Hmm.
have a sterile environment in the woods and there's a baby deer over there, as long as you've got a medical professional,
Right.
okay.
Do your thing.
Yeah, but I'm just drawn to these times of, I don't want to say chaos, but it's just like an in between.
Yeah, I mean again, whatever the right word is, chaos, stress, emotion, anxiety, joy, excitement. I mean, a lot of times all those things are wrapped together
Yeah, absolutely.
in the same moment, you know. What was it about the postpartum part that really kind of you took a shine to that?
Yeah. I think it is the um caring for the person. I think that I understand what it is to feel kind of isolated or othered in certain circumstances, and wanting help and needing to be seen as a full person. So a lot of times someone has a baby and you're like, "Oh, can I come over and hold the baby?" And it's like, "Yeah, but also they need food. They need someone to help with laundry or clean
Sure.
up the kitchen or offer some kind of assistance that, or as I mentioned, just sit and be like, "Hey."
Mm-hmm. There if you need them.
Yeah, or I have a friend who, her first son died the day after he was born. And
Unimaginable to me, by the way.
it's, we actually grew closer because we weren't really close. And now we're very close because I had to read about I read this book, The Bereaved Parent, because you don't imagine that you don't think about, I mean, I only have dogs
Mm-hmm.
and nephews. It's a, God forbid this thing happen. But what is portrayed in the media and the things that people post, I think it's become more common to talk about miscarriage or
Mm,
to talk about, an unexpected death. And people's children die and it's tragic. But a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do in this scenario.
sure.
They
Right.
just don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think it's someone's job. There are people that are drawn to, hey, I also don't really know what you need, but in this moment, I'm here with you. And I think that's part of the postpartum thing for me is that your body just, I mean, however the baby came out, your body did a lot, and
Hmm.
you're adjusting to a new normal. It doesn't matter if it's your fifth or your first.
Oh, I can only imagine. You said something just in passing, but it
Mhm.
caught my attention, and I just am asking out of curiosity.
Yeah.
I might be able to overstep my bounds. So if I am, you can just tell me to jump off a
Yeah,
cliff.
I'll let you know, Pat.
You said you feel like you understand being othered or isolated. Why do you think that what resonates with you about that?
So I am likely autistic. It's not like diagnosed, but I have all the signs and symptoms. I do have ADHD, I have depression. Um, and I still to this day, I kind of gauge like, wait, what's the right way I'm supposed to act
Mm,
in this scenario? What is considered normal? Um, and then I kind of just go by what the vibe is. And I got tired of doing that because I'm interested in being my most authentic self rather than like, obviously observing norms of I'm not going to push I don't want to make people uncomfortable. I want to
sure.
respect boundaries. I'm very much of let's treat each other well, but
Hmm.
the you have to be a certain size, you have to laugh a certain like I ended well my ex-husband ended our relationship and I remember at the end I felt like I needed to be quieter and smaller
Mm,
and just less of myself. And I have felt that way a lot in my life just because I don't know, I feel like I've got a soul from about 2000 years ago that showed up and I didn't really know how to I was like, I don't know what this whole technology thing, it's great, but do we need these certain things? Do we need
hmm.
AI to do this one thing?
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
so, but I do tend to, and I also have a hard time asking for help. So I end up kind of being isolated or even isolating myself sometimes. And that's not useful, but I also understand the struggle of,
Well, it's interesting that when you analyze yourself, you feel like you have a hard time asking for help, and maybe intentionally or unintentionally, maybe it's also kind of like what you need. You put yourself in these situations where people need help, and
yeah,
maybe they don't know how to ask for it, but you're there just to offer it, and
yeah.
so it might be kind of both parties benefiting actually in some
Mm,
sort of way.
yeah. I think it is reciprocal. My friend's dad just died really unexpectedly a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, listen, my dad has a pickup. Your brother is not helping you. I will be there. I will move what you need me to, and also, or I'll just bring you the truck and
Mm,
leave you alone. And I think, and sometimes he'll message me and I'll say, okay, do you want me to validate your feelings or do we want to problem solve right now?
hmm.
Um, and sometimes people don't they don't know how to interact or engage like oh your dad died that sucks I'm sorry
Right.
and okay but think about all the I it's made me aware of all the things that I talked to my I was like where who do I need to die I don't want you to die for another 20 years
Right, right. Yeah, 100%.
and this is not me being morbid or greedy about the house or anything I want to know these steps and so I'm learning about this and it's massively overwhelming. I mean, think of his dad was only in his 60s and he's got a giant house that he's got to go through and it's isolating. He's there by himself, well, with his brother trying to get through everything. And there's even just saying, "Hey, how are you doing today?" I
Mm,
or I'm going to most of my friends live in Charlotte and I have, a couple in Winston-Salem. So it makes it more difficult when there's a hard time. But, I sent a voice note to one of my friends. I took care of her daughter for a few hours. I was like, "You're doing such a great job at being a mom. She's amazing." And I know that that's because of you being a parent. Her
Awesome.
just, if
Well,
you
little
live
things like
nearby.
that mean so
Yeah,
much to people, quite frankly. You don't need to deliver this amazing,
right.
gift to their home. Like
It's
just
in
some
the
kind
little.
words go really
Mhm,
far.
mhm. And I think that that's within every relationship. I don't think that, a marriage is meant to be a bunch or any romantic relationship, even if you choose not to get married. It's not grand gestures day in and day out. It's little things. So John Gottman, I read 8 Dates, and it's like, allow people to surprise you. And I took that to heart with basically every interaction I have. My mom, my dad, my sister, nieces, friends, strangers. It's not personal, and allow people to surprise you. Don't assume you know this person. And I just want people to understand that, I think.
And truthfully, most people are dealing with a whole bunch of stuff that they just haven't revealed to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are carrying around way more than they let on.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what we've been told that we have to do. You just suffer in silence, and everyone goes, "Hey, how are you?" And you just say,
I'm
"Good."
fine. How are
No matter how
you?
you're doing, no matter how you're doing, you say, "Good."
I
So,
walked into my apartment, the leasing office, the Monday. They were supposed to bring me a portable unit, and they hadn't yet. And I walked in, I was like, when does maintenance stop for the day? Five, or no, I brought it up because he said, how are you? And I said, good. And I said, actually, no, that's not true.
good for you. That's the truth, though.
But we're conditioned to, I'm doing good
Mm-hmm.
because the societal, like, I know it's not his fault. I know it's peak AC season in the South. I get it. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, my apartment's 85 degrees.
Right. And humid.
Yeah.
Yep.
But everyone's dealing with something. And that's what drew me to, I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I feel like I just want to be a life doula. Like, do you have an appointment that you're dreading? I'll go with you.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for the friend whose son died. She had a tear and a fistula, and um, it's been very traumatic. And I went with her up to New York to one of the two specialists that could repair this issue. She asked me to go because her husband couldn't go, and I was honored. I was like, absolutely. Do you want me in the room with you? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, okay. If you start crying, do you want me to do you want tissue? What do you need from me?
Mm-hmm.
Silence, hold your hand. Um, because I think that there are a lot of things in life that are hard that we're like, yeah, you just have to do it. Okay. But someone can be there with you to do it.
100%. A hundred
So,
percent agree. I mean, I think most of us would probably benefit from just a lot of the things that you're saying. It can be so easy to get caught up in the busyness of life and the hecticness in the schedule that you pass by events without really paying attention to them or pass
mhm,
by people without really paying attention to them because everybody's in the good old United States of America overworked, overwhelmed, and
mhm.
you're just hustling to the
Yeah.
next task, and you don't
It's,
actually stop and
yeah.
soak it, let anything soak in.
Mhm. And it's that, like, the whole hustle, the grind culture. There's a book, I'm halfway through. My sister's responsible for a lot of
Yeah, it
things
sounds like
for
it.
me. I love her, but there's a book called Digital Minimalism, and I have for the past, 5, 6 years really worked to be intentional with what I engage with, what I
Hmm.
do, how the words that I choose to say. Um, and I think part of the hustle and the grind, and you have to turn every hobby into something that makes money, or I think part of that is like technology, and okay, you're overwhelmed with choice, and okay, I can look this up right now, or I can
Hmm.
just write a note for myself, which our attention spans are getting shorter, and interacting, we're losing things. Like, you used to read a book, you wrote in the side with marginalia, and now you can write a comment on an article, but there are things I feel like we're losing. And so I think that, I don't know, I feel like I'm going off on a tangent. I
Oh,
just
but
think
accurate, accurate
I
though.
think we need to slow down. And I have timers on I have timers on YouTube, and then I'll realize, oh, I haven't watched Pat's video on the workout.
I mean, I think you're on the right track though. I mean, it's so easy with those, the devices, the electronics, your phone, AI, whatever it is. There's wonderful benefits to it,
Oh,
but it can
absolutely.
be a slippery slope that
Hmm.
sucks away minutes and hours of your day that it's terrifying when you actually crunch the numbers and you realize how little you've been engaged in the real world, so to speak, with living creatures and how much you've just been staring at a screen doing nonsense because the algorithm's very effective at keeping you on your device, and so it's
Yeah.
I think it's very accurate in what you're saying. I'm I'm curious, uh, maybe in wrapping up, with your background, with your knowledge, with what you're doing with people, I feel like it's an area that a lot of people could benefit from. If after hearing this, people are like, man, I haven't either A, been engaged with my friends and family as much as I can, or maybe I'm actually not listening, or I'm not putting myself out there in a way to be as supportive as I should. Do you have any just tips or tricks or some place to start for somebody that's looking to just um, be more available and helpful to people if they need it, tuned in if they need it?
I think the first thing is, it's easy to say limit your time on your device. I think putting your phone down, going outside is important. I think as much as it pains me as a millennial to say it, we hate phone calls. They're good. My mom calls my Nona every night.
Mm,
I at least text my mom, call them up, or send a voice memo just
hmm
saying they're doing a great job. I think people feel overwhelmed. They feel like they have to respond back immediately. And you don't, I think, go for a walk in the morning, drink a lot of water, go for a walk midday, or just go for a walk once a week, like a long walk. I think that will help. I honestly think even just texting, being like, hey, I love you.
Yeah, check in
Just,
with.
I mean, my dad was outside yesterday and I just had this urge to tell him I was glad he was my dad. And I just went, hey. And he went, I know it's hot. I'll be careful. And I said, no, I just want you to know I'm glad you're my dad. He was like, oh, well, I'm glad you're my Mel. And it just, if you feel the urge, do it. Talk to a stranger.
100%.
Um, I think the biggest thing is what people say and do has more to do with them than it does with you.
Mm.
And be curious, not judgmental. That's from Ted
That,
Lasso, who's quoting a
that,
poet, but
that is absolutely wonderful. I appreciate
yeah.
that. Melanie, thank you for being a part of Linchpin and thank you for sharing your insight on these topics. I truly
Well,
appreciate it.
thanks for interviewing me. It was
Of
nice to
course.
meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Have a good day.
You too.